Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Idle Chat. Hopefully you've enjoyed the first 2 episodes. Jack's still got his cough. It's not COVID, so don't worry.
It's all this time we spend outside.
It's just ridiculous. He's just a sickly boy.
I'm just always coughing.
You are.
Yeah.
Look at you. You're like an old bloke. You have had a haircut though, which is much better. Anyway.
It is, isn't it?
It is better. It just show up your greys though.
So God, yeah,
Sorry
that's why I
about
grew it long.
Sorry about that. Anyway, episode 3. We mentioned at the end of episode 2 that this one we'd do lottery cars, what we'd have, giving a bit of an insight into what our taste in cars are. So we're going to segment this. We're not just going to go in and say, oh, we've got unlimited money, have whatever. So first one, you've got a budget of 100 grand.
Yeah.
You spend that however you want. You can either spend it all on one car. You can separate it, have a fun car, have something older, or however you want to spend that money. 100 grand, what would you have?
Shall I go first?
It's a difficult one, actually.
Because 100 grand, it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, but it's also not a lot of money.
When you're playing with the cars we play with,
exactly.
It doesn't stretch that
much.
much.
It's very difficult.
I've put a bit of thought into that one. It would be Cayman GTS.
Nice. What are they, 60, 70, something like that?
Yeah. So I've spent 60, 70 on a Cayman
60, 70
GTS.
on a Cayman GTS, yeah.
And I would use the excuse to spend that much money on one car by saying, oh, it's my wife's car.
Okay.
And she'd be insured to drive that one, so that she'd get the fun car. But I get the weekend.
But really, it's yours. Really, yeah.
We've got a Porsche on the drive, and you know me. That would be like
Porsche,
my dream position is to have a GTS product or a GT product on my driveway. So Cayman 718 GTS.
Nice, good choice. Very good choice.
60, 70 grand of the budget.
Yeah.
The remainder would be on something like a Velar or an XC60.
Yeah, I was about to ask. I was intrigued then to see whether you'd forgotten about the family.
No.
Cayman, you can't really get the kid and the wife and the dog. Well, your dog you could, because yours is like it's about this big. It's pathetic. You could get that. You get that in any car. You just, there you go.
Put it on the seat.
You even get that in a Lambo.
Yeah, I'd go for something like a Velar or an XC60 or just a nice, stylish, family-size SUV, mid-size. I wouldn't want to go too massive. I don't need massive Range Rover-y stuff. But something like a Velar, something like an XC60, something like an E-Pace.
Yeah.
Along those sorts of lines.
That's pretty bob on, to be fair. So you'd spend 30-ish grand on
a nice SUV.
On a nice SUV that can be used for that, and then you've got your Porsche for your weekends.
Yeah, for the weekend. So we've got 2 cars, so I could be using one for work.
Yeah.
Wife's not without wheels to take my son places and stuff, so we've got the 2 cars.
Yeah, and 2 cars on the drive.
Both of them would be things that I would look forward to driving because I like.
Yeah, they're both. Yeah.
You know what I'm like? I like my
they're your 2 cars that you.
And stuff.
It's the 2 kind of cars that you like, isn't it? Really. Yeah. So it'd be spot on.
What about you? Got 100 grand.
100 grand.
Got a family.
100 grand.
You have
really
cats. So
I know. I have cats. I don't need to go in the car. I've got a wife.
Got a wife.
That's it.
Play football.
Yeah. So
football boots.
For me, the car that I would have is not out yet.
Okay.
Which is the M3 Touring.
Okay.
When that comes out, that's the car I'd have.
I didn't think you'd go for the M3 Touring.
Yeah. Obviously, it's not
one car. That's when
not
you go.
out
you
yet.
Go for an M3 Touring.
Yes.
One car that does
one car, spec it to the hills, have all the carbon, everything. An M3 Touring.
I can see that. So
Car's not out yet, obviously, so I can't really have that as my answer. So I would probably go for. It is difficult because I really like the new M3 and M4.
Yeah.
However, that's like 80 grand gone, already. So probably I'd have an M340i Touring as my everyday car, about 50 grand.
Yeah.
And then I would probably buy a 981 Cayman GTS.
Yeah.
Probably.
So an older GTS.
Older GTS, which, because I'm not going to get into a GT4 for that money.
No.
But yeah, a 981 GTS, or I don't know, can you get into a 911 50 grand? Would you be able to? You get a 996, wouldn't you?
You get, yeah.
It'd have to be a Porsche. I couldn't argue with anything. I'd have to have a Porsche because it's just, as we've said in previous podcasts, they're just next level. They're unbelievable.
Yeah.
They are so good. But yeah, so I think once it comes out, M3 Touring all day every day.
I like that.
Now I'd have M340i Touring and a 981 Cayman GTS.
I like that. That's
which
a
would
good,
be quite nice.
It's a nice little balance.
Would I have an M2 competition? No, it's
too much choice.
It's too much. Yeah, it's too much.
M2 competition.
It's such a it's difficult. 100 grand because there's so much that you could have. You could just go and go mad and just have an M5 competition.
Yeah.
Which does everything you'd ever need. God, can you imagine if they did an M5 competition?
Touring. Touring M5.
Oh my god.
We've waited an entire lifetime to get a proper M3
why don't they do it? Why don't they do an M5? Because we've got Audi Rs6, which is almost sacrilege mentioning the Audi word on this channel, but I've driven an Rs6, did it earlier on in the year. Brilliant car.
Brilliant car.
Mercedes do the E63S wagon.
Yeah.
Why don't BMW? I know you're not going to be watching this, but if somehow amazingly it gets to you,
imagine that.
Because
M5 because a guy.
Because Matt from Lalo TV said it
on his third podcast.
Which gets about 3 views. no, we'll make an M5 touring just for you, sir. Yeah, no, that for me would be the ideal, but yeah, quite difficult. 100 grand actually, isn't it? Like 100 grand, it's a lot of money, but it's also not a lot of money for petrol heads, is it really? Because the way that the market's gone and the way everything it is, like, you just don't know.
I mean, I've instantly gone down the road of, for the sake of this podcast, gone down the road of picking modern stuff.
Modern stuff, yeah. You could go for some older stuff, couldn't you? Really?
100 grand for classics.
Yeah. You're looking at like 991.1 GT3 now. They're like. And if you really wanted to go mad, 570S.
Yeah.
650S, you can get those for under 100 grand now.
Yeah.
Like 650S is super series.
Well, you know what?
Very rare as well.
You know me, I'd just have a garage full of rotten 1990s hot hatches.
It's like Amg BGTs and all
106 rallies. And 205
Civic
GTIs.
Type R, EP, whatever.
French stuff. Yeah, I'm stupid.
182 Clio though.
Yeah, 182 Clio, 172. Yeah, 172 Coupe.
Oh.
Citroen AX.
Great.
GT.
Oh, what a car.
little 1.4.
See, when I was growing up though, I didn't really, because you're a little bit older than me, not loads older than me, but a bit older than me. So when I was growing up, it was all the JDM scene. So it was Skyline R34, because it was Fast and Furious. It was. But you couldn't get an R34 Skyline for less than 100 grand now.
No,
like they're like 150. Like they're mad.
So much
and
money
they're
now.
so rare in this country as well. And I think that's only going to go more because I think they've just become legal in America as well.
Yeah, they're just getting their exported so much to America now.
The desire for those
stock is just low in Japan.
It's going to go sky high, but Impreza blue with gold wheels. That's the bug I want.
333 stickers all over the side, even on a road car.
Good. That's the sort of generation. Mazda Rx-7 with a full like in Tokyo Drift, the veal side body with the orange and the black.
Underglow all over it. Bring back underglow, by the way.
Yeah, like neon. Very illegal in this country, but so cool.
So cool.
Yeah, like Need for Speed Underground 2. Did you ever play that?
Yes.
Oh my god, what a game that was. You get a little Vauxhall Corsa at the very start, but the exhaust the size of the Channel Tunnel on it. It put flames at the side of it and just looked like a right rotter. But it didn't matter because it just...
That was the scene at the time, wasn't it?
It was those sort of things. We're diverging a little bit here, but we've got time. So for me, I'm going to open this question to you in a minute. What got you into cars? So I started getting into cars, Gran Turismo 4 and Need for Speed Underground 2. They were the big things that was just like, oh, cars are really cool.
Yeah, really good fun.
And I always remember the one car that I was desperate to try and buy on Gran Turismo was the Dodge Viper GTS, like GTS. The original Vipers, blue with white stripes over it, and that for me, for some reason, just
the RT10
started. RT10 Viper, like it just started it, and then obviously it's turned into this, and now we get to drive amazing cars, which it's mad. But what started the whole car thing for you?
I've always liked them. You ask my parents what got me into cars, and they can't pinpoint it. They said even from this big, it was toy cars, micro machines, like Hot Wheels, all sorts of stuff.
I was dinosaurs, but that's a different thing.
No, it's like, you ever play with micro machines? You ever see the little tiny model cars?
Tiny little things.
Yeah, so loads of those. That's all I ever wanted for my birthdays and Christmas and stuff like that. I had tons of them, boxes of them and things. Same with Hot Wheels, all that sort of stuff. And then
Hot Wheels
as I got older, it was I think it was a company called Barago. I want to say it was Barago. I remember the B on the boxes. It was like Airfix, but for cars.
I know what you're talking about.
There's another one with the two
Let us know in the
stars
comments if you remember what it is.
Yeah, there's another brand from Japan, I think it was, or Chinese brand, or Japanese brand.
I used to love
two
FX.
stars on them, which you could paint and stuff.
Oh.
But Baraga were the ones which were die-cast model shells. So you didn't paint
it's
them.
just a
It was a metal shell that you pieced it together.
I think I had one of those. I can't remember. Was it a Diablo?
I had all sorts. I had the Dodge Viper RT10. The red
I never
one.
had a Viper. I definitely had a.
So I had a whole collection of
I had a
those.
Diablo.
And then there was obviously Need for Speed Underground, PlayStation, that sort of stuff.
That's what it is.
I had friends. I lived in a little village outside Nottingham.
Yeah.
I had friends with like farmland and stuff, and then at the age of 15 and stuff like that, they were getting absolute rotters to bounce around the field. So I learned to drive in those and knob around with friends and just have a bit of football. Not knob around with friends. We'll cut that bit. Used to mess around with friends in the fields and stuff in those, which was great fun. And then obviously passed my driving test at 17, and it was just.
It's the freedom that it gets you in it.
Yeah, what got me into the cars at that point was learning to modify my cars. I had a friend at the time called Daniel who was really into it, and his dad was a mechanic, and his neighbour over the road knew what they were doing. They did an engine swap, and he had a Fiat Punto 1.2. Did an engine swap on that on his driveway, and it was with the spanners, understanding.
They didn't put a big V8 in it, did they?
No. They put a 1.4 in it because that's what he could get insured on. It was mighty. I tell you what, it went from 85 brake horsepower single point injection to 90-something brake horsepower, multi-point injection. It was
wild.
Rapid.
I bet it was. So was that your first car then, Punto?
No, that was my friend's first car.
Okay.
But it was the first car that I spent any time underneath in overall spannering on and changing bits and understanding the mechanics and the
having work
of
and
the
that
car.
sort of stuff,
My first car was a £750 Mark I Renault Clio Oasis, which meant it had a sunroof which leaked during the winter.
Rascal.
It was a 1.2 litre single point injection.
Love that.
It was slow, it was hilarious, it was purple.
Yeah.
It was my dream car, and it had blue neons on the inside, it had multiple speakers.
You properly, like,
I went to Halfords.
You rascaled that. You drove it into, you didn't even park in the car park, you just drove through the doors.
Out the other side.
And it was just
whatever was stuck on it.
Yeah.
That was it. That was my first car, that's what got me into cars. Just learning to modify them and spanner on them and do my own thing with them. And then since then I've always had something. It's not till recently actually, last couple of years, I've not had something on the drive that I could work on. My last one was a Mark 1 MX-5.
Oh, I love Mark 1 MX-5s. Pop-up lights.
Yeah.
It
was my second one. This one it had, what did I do to this? New exhaust because it needed it. The old one rotted through, so obviously upgraded it.
But it sounded good with the rotted through there. I bet it sounded like straight pipes.
Well, it didn't actually. It vibrated off the cat. It was awful.
Oh.
So yeah, stainless steel catback on that one. It had HSD coilovers, so it lowered that one, fully adjustable coilovers. Some big sticky tyres on it. Did the brakes, the suspension stuff all on that one. Loads of bushings and all sorts of like maintenance work on it. No, that was
so cool.
Yeah, there weren't too many mods on the inside. A bit of more stereo. Old stereo, updated that.
I'd really like a Mark 1 MX-5. Even like today, I'd love an MX-5.
I was gutted to sell it. Yeah, I had to get rid of it for having a baby.
Yeah, that would do it. Yeah. It's not the most practical car for a baby, is it?
No,
really?
No Isofix, no safety features. There was a roll bar.
You can sell that to the missus. Yeah. Don't worry, it's got a roll bar in it.
So that's my car journey. What got me into them? Yeah. So if you were to give me £100,000, I'd be really hard pushed. Back to the main topic. If you were to give me £100,000 to buy cars, I'd be really hard pushed to either buy something new or in the back of my head sit there thinking, well, actually, could I get something a bit more basic and fill my garage with
like proper
old tap? People go, why are you spending money on that? It's rotten. And I'm like, because look at it.
Because it's cool.
And it's heritage and it's got history and
See, I as much as I respect old cars and I'd love an R34 Skyline, I just have modern stuff. I really do think. I mean, the furthest probably 991.1 GT3. What's that? 2013-ish.
Yeah.
That's about as far back as I'd go. Really, 675 LT.
Yeah.
Without going into the topic a little bit later on, but that's about as far back as I go to. Like modern classics, is kind of the thing I'd go for. So that's our £100,000 mark.
Yeah.
Now let's up it, £250,000, £250,000. Again, you can do either or. You can buy 2 cars, 3 cars, 1 car, whatever you want to do. So, what would you have?
It's a really difficult question.
Again, £250,000, lots of money, still not enough money. For what I'd like.
You got the option of something like a Rolls-Royce Ghost at that price, brand new Rolls-Royce Ghost.
Which would do everything.
Yeah.
But it's
a 1 car at that price point. Or as you've said, you can go the other way. So what is it, 250 grand?
250, yeah.
So you could have what I've already chosen, and you've got 150 grand to spend on something else. But then if you're buying, what do you get for 150 grand? What's that? What's an Urus? Are you in Urus territory there?
Probably not actually in today's market.
Today's market.
I think new, what are they, late hundreds, used market about 200 and something.
Do you add to what you've already got?
Or do you start again from scratch?
Or do you get rid of the GTS 718 GTS?
Upgrade it to a GT4.
A GT4. Yeah. That's 100 grand gone.
It's 100 grand. Would you? Here's side note: manual or PDK GT4?
PDK.
Yeah, I'd go PDK.
Yeah.
Controversial, I know. There'll be all these people out there going, "Oh, you got on a manual, 3 pedals engagement."
Oh, it's so engaging.
No,
drive some modern autos and come back to us.
PDK. just have a PDK.
Honestly, the amount of people.
Stop it.
Yeah, stop it. Move on. So PDK, Porsche.
Yeah.
That's probably what I do. See you later, GTS Cayman. Hello, GT4.
For GT4, Cayman. Yeah. So that's 100 grand. So you've got 150 still to spend.
And then, do I go XC60 Polestar engineered?
You love that car, don't you?
Blooming love that car.
It's gone, but I bet how gutted are you that it's gone back?
It's been a while since I've not had that car.
Yeah, that's gutting, isn't it?
I still dream about it.
Do you?
Still walk out thinking, it's not there.
Oh dear.
So something like that, because it's
not a bad shout to be
performance orientated. It won't cost as much to insure and run as the X3 M competition stuff. It has that family usability.
Yeah.
And it's, what are they on the used market, about 50 grand? Something around 50?
Yeah. Around 50, so that'd still leave you with 100 grand to spend.
100 grand left over?
On something else.
Oh my God.
So you've got...
I've got a GT4.
You've got your GT4 100 grand-ish.
I've got a usable family SUV.
Your Polestar,
the Polestar
XC60,
which is unique and interesting.
Roughly 50 in the used market. Still got 100 grand to spend.
100 grand left over.
100 grand to spend.
Forget
treating the wife.
What can I get?
Oh, you get something nice.
GKL sort of stuff. What have we got there? You got 7 Series.
For BMW, 8.
8 Series.
8's nice.
How much are they at?
You could probably get a used M8.
Convertible?
Potentially. I don't really know what the price. M8s, you never see M8s, do you?
No.
You never see them. I shot one when it first came out, about 2 years ago.
I probably want something like that, like a used like a decent GT car, like a nice. Because at times you don't want to be driving the XC60 4x4s everywhere.
That's more for the wife and kids, isn't it? Your GT4 is almost like a smash about weekend car.
Yeah. You're looking for a GT car at that point. Panamera?
A Pan would be nice. Well, we mentioned it's massively overlooked in the last podcast, so it's a pretty good shout. You've already got your SUV, so Panamera would be nice, but it does broadly the same thing as the Polestar, around the same horsepower as well, which is pretty mad. Unless you go for the e-hybrid Turbo S thingy, which is like 700 something silly horsepower, but
I'd say
a lot of money.
You would get a Taycan.
I would get a Taycan,
but all electric for the mileage I do.
Yeah,
probably not going to be suitable.
You wouldn't use it as your daily though, would you? A Taycan.
I don't know. It's a luxury car for it.
It is nice, isn't it? It's difficult actually.
I don't know. You'll have to come back to me for my last 100. Last 100,000.
My last 100k. Oh dear.
What about you? Yeah, 250. Let's come back to me in a minute.
All right. So 250 to spend. I'd have my everyday would be the new M3 competition.
Okay.
Isle of Man green, Silverstone interior, carbon kit.
All the carbon.
Yeah. That's about 80 grand. Interestingly, I wouldn't have it with an ultimate pack.
Okay.
I wouldn't have the carbon seats because they annoy me.
They're really nice for short periods of time.
Really nice, like especially in M3 as well, because now this is something that I've not mentioned before, but M3, because my drive, it might just be my driving position, but I sit quite far back, quite low down, like a racing driver. But where the door opens and where the B pillar is, the seat is almost behind the B pillar. So for me to get in and out, so look into the side, you've just got B pillar. And then getting in and out of it is just a pain in those seats. They're gorgeous.
They're almost as high as these actually for the bolsters, aren't they?
Actually, this is actually probably lower than the bolsters on the M3. Brilliant seats, and I think they work better on the M4 because, for me anyway, just because you can get in and out of them easier.
It's a lower car, isn't it?
Yeah, and the door's bigger, so you've not got the B pillar in the way. So I'd have the normal seats, whatever. So I'd have it with laser lights, so a Viz pack and a tech pack, and that's all you need, I think, in my opinion. Isle of Man green, Silverstone interior, so that's about 80 grand. So that leaves me with, my instant maths is really bad. That's about 170 grand. I would have, I'd be stuck between two cars. Do I go McLaren 720S One of the, probably, actually there's no probably, it is the best supercar, everyday usable supercar. Because I'd want to use it. Yeah. Like I'd want to use that car. I couldn't get into a Spider for that money though. I'd want a Spider, couldn't get into one because they're still 200 grand. Or would I go 991.2 GT3? Because I'm not going to get into a 992. Yeah. Because that'd be all of my £250,000 gone.
Yeah, that's all 250.
Yeah.
Spent it on one
Which
car.
actually would be quite tempting.
Which would be really good fun, considering the fact you've got no family.
Be really tempting, but to pay 100 grand overs for a car, I just don't think I could bring myself to do it.
It's just you and the wife, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you could probably get away with it.
Could get away with
a little sporty
car. But then a 991.2 GT3 is a good one, probably 150 grand anyway. So would you go supercar, out and out supercar, the best supercar there is daily, 720S, or would you go not GT3? I think I'll probably get flack for this. I'd probably go McLaren.
I was going to say I'd get McLaren.
Yeah, because the drama, the Porsche probably be more fun to drive potentially, but the McLaren would be more special because it's a supercar. It's got dihedral doors. It's
everything about it's supercar, isn't it?
Fucking quick as well. I'll blank that out, but
the thing about
quick
Porsches is
I know exactly
every
what you're going to say.
Supercar, aren't they?
Yes.
And that's what I love about them. They are the kind of car that you can.
Yeah.
They're aspirational. They're luxurious, and they're a car that it works in all circumstances.
It does. It does.
With a McLaren, there is compromise, and that's what makes them so radical and cool. And I think that's, from my point of view, I could see you more in a McLaren. Yeah. Taking the compromise and just dealing with it, because I think it suits your characteristics a bit more than, say, myself.
You'd go the Porsche, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd go the Porsche. So the way that I think of this, and the way that I would explain it, when I was at school, mad on cars, if a Porsche drove past me, I'd be like, oh, that's cool. If a McLaren drove past me, my head would fall off.
Oh,
yeah. It's a McLaren! Chasing with my fellows, I can't get a picture!
It's the drama they bring, isn't it?
So that's my thing, and that comes on to another thing that I love about this job and driving these cars, is it's amazing driving them, but the thing that I take real joy from is seeing other people's reactions to the cars. Like, you drive through, like, it was completely by fluke. I went and took some pictures of a 720S Spider, I think it was about 18 months ago, and it was about 3 o'clock, about 3:30 in the afternoon. To get to the location, which is actually down in Bristol, the bridge that we use loads of times. If you follow our socials, you'll see that.
See it on loads of stuff.
And it was kicking out time for a secondary school. Totally by mistake. McLaren, roof down, driving past, and just the reactions that car got was just like, and it takes you back. And I think that's the thing with supercars, isn't it? You don't need a supercar. No, but I don't care what anybody says. No one needs a supercar. You don't need that in your life.
700 plus brake horsepower from a V8 two-seater with a tiny little boot.
Yeah. No one needs a supercar. You want a supercar. And that's just why I'd have a McLaren. Yeah. Because yes, they don't get the best of press, do they? No. McLaren, unfortunately. The product is absolutely sensational though. You drive a McLaren, you'll know what I'm talking about. I think it'd have to be 720S. Because it's the best. So that's where I'd be. So I'd have M3 competition as my everyday car, 4-door, usable car. Mm-hmm. Again, I'll go back to it. I'd have the Touring when that comes out. Yeah. I'd have the M3 Touring, but obviously it's not out, so I'll have the Saloon. Saloon M3 with a 720S as my weekend smoker. Yeah. And daily, if I wanted to use it every day. Yeah. It's happy days. So that's my budget blown. You've still got 100 grand left.
Yeah.
Which would be bloody lovely if that was actually the case, wouldn't it?
Imagine. It would be.
So got 100 grand, I don't know, what do I do with that?
I'm torn between a GT, like a Grand Tourer car.
Yeah, like you know what it just popped into my head, Aston Martin Dbs. Not the new one, not the Superleggera, the Bond Dbs. Manual gearbox, V12.
Yeah. That'd be good. Yeah, okay. No,
that's mucky, that is.
Something like that would be. How much are they worth these days?
I don't know. I think
Can you get one for 100 grand?
I think they're hovering around 100. They did drop to like 80, 90 at one point, but I'm not sure what they are now.
No, that'd be a great shout, actually. Aston Martin.
Yeah.
I hadn't even thought about that as a brand.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, I think it's probably sold by now, but V12, V12 Vantage S.
Especially in Birmingham, didn't they?
What a machine that is.
Beautiful
tiny
spec
little
on that.
car, monster V12.
Yeah, big V12,
Like,
great looking car, great colour combination.
You could probably get one of those generation V8 as a V8 for 80, 90, probably less than that, probably even 70.
It has to be a V12 though, won't it?
God, you've got to have a V12.
No, I think you've hit that. That's
just I don't know what.
it's
It
a
just pops into my
gentleman's
head.
sports car.
DBS.
So I'd have a DBS, a GT4, and a Polestar engineered for daily use.
Pretty good garage that is, isn't
It's a
it?
decent
That's
driveway.
a very good driveway.
Yeah, okay.
So you've got 3 cars for the price of my 2.
Yeah, but you've got a McLaren.
I've got McLaren.
Which is rather special, as you've just said.
Yeah,
I don't
it's a
think
very special
driving
thing.
past that same school in an Aston Martin Dbs would warrant the same reaction as a
Probably
bright
not the
green.
same reaction. I think there'll be a few people that look at it and go, "That is." People. The
People
thing
that
is, like,
know
people that know
yeah.
what it is. Yeah. I mean, it's a generational thing, isn't it? Like, Casino Royale. That car was launched with Casino Royale, so instantly, coolest thing ever.
I think you've hit it quite easily there with the on the head. Sorry, with the generational thing. You drove that McLaren past the school and the reactions it was getting from the kids. I drove that Rolls-Royce Ghost months ago now, ages ago, and I remember pulling to a petrol station just outside Birmingham, and the reactions it was getting from grown men.
Yeah.
I don't think the kids reacted to it. Any youngsters
You don't know what it is,
no,
really. It's just a long, big saloon.
big long blue car.
Yeah.
But there were grown men. There was a builder that got out of his van. What do you do for a living? And I was like, I don't own this.
Yeah.
I could have said, oh yeah, I've just got lucky on the lottery one time, my man. And I've got my own business. But
I never know what to do in those situations.
I just told him the truth.
Yeah, I do as well.
Yeah, it's not mine. I'm driving it for 24 hours. It's work, so I'm doing some
why have you
videos.
got a McLaren? Why are you driving? Why have you got a Lamborghini? It's not mine.
Yeah.
I wish it was,
yeah.
but it's not mine.
No, so the reaction I got from the Rolls was it's a
Yeah.
generational thing with that. So you do get the reactions from opposite
People
ends of
respect a Rolls, don't
Yeah.
they? They don't like. It's not necessarily the same as seeing a supercar. Like,
Yeah.
people don't. Their heads don't fall off and go mad over it. But you look at a Rolls Royce and go, God, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like, especially if I see someone driving a Rolls Royce, you go, baller.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because to buy a Rolls Royce, you've probably also got McLaren, Lambo.
Yeah,
you've got all these other
stuff,
cars
yeah.
in the garage somewhere. Which,
But if you're bouncing around in your if you're driving it as well, that's the other thing. If you're actually,
if you're
you buy a
driving your
Rolls-Royce
Rolls.
to drive it,
yeah,
more respect to you.
so much respect for that.
Yeah, if you've got someone else driving it, fine. That's just
It's fine.
Yeah.
But if you've bought a Rolls to drive that Rolls,
brilliant.
well done.
Yeah, that's
like,
amazing.
fair play. That is huge respect from us here. So that covers off the £250,000. We've got 2 more categories left. Next one, £1 million.
£1
million quid.
And it has to all be spent on cars. I can't invest it.
No, all on cars. Because if you've got £1 million to spend, you've got a lot of money invested in other places.
Well,
£1 million only on cars. Again, you can split it as many as you want. You can buy one mental car for £1 million, but obviously then you'd have to use that £1 million car every day. So
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it?
Depends
I
what you
need
want.
your help at this point because I've never gone.
difficult.
I've never dreamt £1 million. What would I buy
Yeah.
car wise? So I need your input on this.
Yeah.
I've got £1 million.
Okay.
I'm going down to Bristol. I'm walking in.
Yep.
I've got a choice of Bentley, McLaren, Rolls-Royce,
Lambo. Yep. So what's your budget, sir? Because
I have £1 million.
Are you still spending your £250,000 on your Polestar, or have you got nothing? This
I've got a
completely clean straight.
GT3. I've just bought.
You've got a GT3.
I've bought a
992,
GT3, brand new
991?
GT3.
992.
Porsche have been happy to.
Very nice. Okay, so
Yeah,
you've
I
spent
bought 14 cars from them
Okay.
previously. They've offered me a GT3 slot, so I've taken it.
Okay, so you've just spent 150 grand on a 992 GT3.
Yes.
Okay.
In blue.
In
the
blue.
same one. you
Sharp
drove. The
blue.
same one you drove.
What a colour that is.
Oh, it's so nice.
Yeah, Roger, if you're watching this,
So nice.
we approve of your spec. Okay, so you've got £850,000 left. Does Sir require a daily?
Sir requires a lovely day.
Okay, I would probably.
It needs to tow the kids around and
Okay.
take my tiny dog on dog walks.
Urus, I would say, probably. Urus or Bentayga?
I'm leaning towards Bentayga.
Yeah, I imagine that's more your jam. So Bentayga fully spec'd, 200-ish grand.
Is that right? Yeah.
I think so, yeah, around that. So you've got 350, so you've got £650,000 left.
I want a.
Do you want a mad supercar?
I want a mental
Truly
supercar.
mad, truly mental?
Yeah.
Aventador Svj.
Is that where we go?
That's what I would do.
Okay, and that's
Yeah.
the one you did with the
That's
colours,
right.
the
Yeah. So
Gulf colours and stuff.
yes, I was very fortunate to drive that in a previous job at the start of this year, which will remain unnamed. I drove an Aventador Svj Coupe. It's everything you want a supercar to be. It's stupid.
We had a grey one down there at one point, didn't we?
Satin grey, wasn't it?
Grey, wasn't it? Yeah.
Gorgeous that car was. Aventador Svj is the craziest car I've ever driven and possibly will ever drive.
So I've now got a mental Aventador Svj that I can barely use.
Yeah, you'll never use because it's just stupid.
But it's there and I can take it to
But
car
amazing
shows for
anyway.
Hilarity.
Yeah.
I've got my Bentley.
You've got your Bentayga, and you've got your 992 GT3.
992 GT3 for kicking around racetracks and doing track days and stuff in. Because I'm a millionaire, don't you know, so I can do that now. How much have I got left? Is that all my money then?
150, 200, 350, Aventador Svj, depends whether you go for Spider or Coupe. What would you go, Spider Coupe? Roadster Coupe, I mean.
For me, I've got the 911 GT3, which is a coupe, so
you go Spider. Yeah, you go convertible. So I think they're hovering around 450, half a million a minute. So that leaves you with about 50 grand, if my maths is right, half a mil. So 150, 200, 350. You've actually got
850. So
you've got 150 grand left.
That's what I mean. $1 million quid's hard, isn't it?
That is a lot.
$1 million quid is really
150
hard.
grand to spend left.
Oh my god.
Wow.
And I'm back to where I was at the start, where I could pick between two cars at 100 grand.
Wow.
150 grand left over.
150 grand after all those cars.
Can I? It'd be something old. It'd be something classic. It'd be something stupid.
Wow, 150. So what would I go for 150 grand? I actually don't know. With all those cars as well.
The 150 for me will probably be spent on older stuff, old generation.
Yeah, I imagine you go older stuff.
E36
Could have an
M3 or something.
Could have a Jag E-Type.
Yeah, an old E-Type or something.
That'd be gorgeous, wouldn't it? An old E-Type.
An old Sharknose Beamer of some sort. What was that 5 Series we had?
Yeah,
that
what was
old
that?
5 Series that was in the car park.
E30 something?
Yeah, E30.
What were they?
30,
36, 39, I want to say. I can't remember which one of those. It was an old one. Yeah, they were cool.
Or like an Audi, an old E21 3 Series.
Yeah.
Something like that. I'd have one of those.
Original M3 would be nice, wouldn't it?
Can I spend money modifying it? You know what I'm like.
Do whatever you want.
So from the 100 grand left over, I'd get
if you
something
spend
like a 2002 BMW. You know the 2002 classics?
2002.
Yeah, 2002.
What a thing that is.
And I would spend the money restoring
it.
Bringing that back to its former glory. And I'd tow it with an old 5 Series smoker. An old 530D or something. An old Series, 5 Series. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be pretty mad.
That's where my rest of the money would go. Because I've got my supercars and daft stuff.
Yeah.
And I just want a big old
thing, big monster to do some stuff with. That'd be cool.
Scratched in.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter, would it?
Yeah, covered in
really wouldn't matter.
Towing the 2002.
That'd be so cool.
That'd be so good.
That'd be awesome. Absolutely awesome.
What about you? You've got your £1 million. You've spent my £1 million, and I'm quite happy with what you've bought me. You've now got your own £1 million.
My own £1 million to spend. Okay, so everyday car would probably be the same, M3. Mm-hmm. So 80 grand on an M3.
There's a theme here, isn't there?
Which leaves, there's always a BMW. There has to be a BMW. I love the M3. That for me is just amazing. I love that new M3. Again, touring when that's out. So that leaves me with about 900,000 to spend. So I would spend 200 on a 720S Spider. I'd spend 200 on a Huracan Performante Spider.
Okay.
I would spend...
It ticks your 2 boxes, because I know for you, you're torn all the time, aren't you?
Yeah.
I love McLaren, I love Lamborghini.
I don't know which ones I go for. I'd have both.
Yeah, I'll take both.
I'd have a 992 GT3 as well, PDK GT3. Have I bought that used, or have they given me a slot?
You've bought it used. I'll let you have some more money, because I know you want to spend more money.
Bought it used, okay, bought it. Yeah, but used, it's more than new though, isn't it?
Okay, you've got a slot.
I've got a slot, 150 grand, GT3, gentian blue, silver stripes, silver wheels. That's my spec.
That's your spec.
Not that I've spent loads of time on the configurator building it.
I was going to say, I didn't even know you could put stripes on them.
Already know exactly the spec I have. Never get near one, but I already know what spec I have. So that leaves me 200, so 200, 700, 500, 150, 350,000 left. This is where I'd struggle, because I've already got my daily, I've already got a 720S, I've already got a Huracan Perf, I've already got a GT3.
I just imagine those 3 cars lined up.
I think I'd quite like a Defender 90.
Okay.
V8, fully urban kitted out, black. That's probably what, 120-ish?
Something around that.
Lots of money for a Defender, but still got money to burn. So that leaves me with 200, about 230 left over.
Point for choice.
I'm going to go something quite different here, and it's not one of our brands.
Okay.
It'd be a Ferrari 812 Superfast. Because the V12.
Yeah.
That does it for me. So that's around 220, 230. So
yeah, that's
my lot. So I've got
spent it all.
I've got an M3. I've got a Hurricane Perf Spider. I've got a 720S Spider. I've got a 992 GT3. I've got a Defender 90 V8, and I've also got an 812 Superfast.
An 812 Superfast.
Oh my god.
That would be a good driveway. You need a massive driveway for that.
Oh god, yeah. You'd need an aircraft hangar for it.
Yeah.
Which actually.
But unfortunately, you can't afford that because you
spend. No, I can't afford that. I spent it all on cars. And that leads me nicely onto the last one, which is money, no object. It doesn't matter. You've won the Euro Millions. You've set up a business that's gone to space. You're a multi-billionaire. Money does not matter.
It's just coming in.
However,
spend it.
5 cars.
You can only buy 5 cars.
5 cars. Obviously, money, no object, but 5 cars because, in all honesty, I could probably buy 20.
Yeah.
Or 30, or just keep going. So 5 cars, one of which needs to be a daily, because you need something to smoke around in, obviously, as a daily car. So money, no object. I'll go first on this one. My everyday car wouldn't be an M3 if money was no object. I think my everyday car would be a 992 Turbo S.
Okay.
Because why not? Because 200 grand, money's no object, doesn't matter, does it? So 200 grand, 992 Turbo S.
Bouncing around in the 992 Turbo S.
992 Turbo S would be my everyday car. Do I need to think about the wife in this? No, I don't need to think about that. She can go in the turbo as well. It's fine.
Yeah, well, you're not driving it. She can have the turbo.
Yeah, she can have. I'd have an SVJ Roadster.
Okay.
All day, every day. I'd also have a Senna because I just think that I saw one on the road actually the other day, and
that's a mental shape.
Ridiculous. Yeah. So SVJ.
It's a lot longer than
Senna.
you think.
It's huge, massive, massive car. It's just. The phrase gets used all the time, but race car for the road. Yeah. That is a race car. That shouldn't even be on the road. Sure. How they've got that, it's ridiculous. Yeah. SVJ, Senna, Turbo S. I've got 2 more choices. This is where it gets difficult because I'd probably go. It's not out yet, but when it does come out, I'd have a 992 GT3 RS.
Yep.
That's the big one. But at the minute, I'd go for a GT2 RS. So I've got 1 car left. So 911. So Turbo S, SVJ, Senna, GT2 RS. I actually don't know. One more car. What would I have? What really takes my fancy?
Lotus?
Probably not.
Does it not fit on your drive?
No. If you've got unlimited money, you've got to go mad. And I'm thinking like big boy stuff now, like silly stuff. So like your LAF Ferraris, your 918s, your P1s. But then I've already got a Senna.
Yeah, you got a Senna, so you won't want a P1.
Already got a Senna, Ferrari. Yeah. This is something that it's not just me saying this because we don't sell Ferraris, but Ferrari doesn't really float my boat. Which is really strange, even though obviously in the last list I said 812. That's probably the only Ferrari that I would buy.
Go for.
Yeah, I can't put my finger on why, because they are fabulous machines.
Yeah.
Obviously, they just are. So it probably wouldn't be a Ferrari. McLaren, I've got a Lambo, I've got a Porsche, I've got all of the ones that I would like.
Batista?
You know what? I saw the reviews of that actually. Top Gear have driven it.
Have they?
Phenomenal reviews on that car. But that's £2 million electric car. I don't want to spend £2 million on an electric car. I'm sorry. As gorgeous as that car is, and as tempting as 1900 horsepower. I don't think I would. So I would probably do something a little bit different. I'd probably have a 675 LT Spider to go alongside my Senna. It can't pretty much Shmee's garage.
Yeah.
Because he's pretty much got these things, other than the Turbo S. But yeah, I reckon that. There's too much choices. I could, if literally, if there was no car, right, if there was no stipulation, no 5 cars, Turbo S, GT3, GT2 RS, SVJ, Huracan Performante, 720S, 765 LT, I'd have a 600 LT. I'd also have the Senna. I'd have, I probably would go Ferrari at that point. I'd have a LaFerrari, I'd go the 918, I'd have a P1 because I'd want all three. I'd probably
There's
also...
no stopping you, is there?
No, I can't help it. I'd probably also go for an Aston Martin Valhalla.
I reckon you'd be the kind of person we'd read about in the newspaper that wins the Euro Millions and has gone...
I'd spend it all.
He's won £280 million and he'd be broke in 4 weeks because he's bought all these cars.
I'd run out of money so quickly if I won the Euro.
You'd buy an aircraft hangar, put a bed in the corner and fill the rest of it
I'd sleep in my cars. Like, it'd just be mad. Like, yeah, and the other one, the last one, and no, it's not one of our brands, the Mercedes AMG Project One.
Okay.
Because that is Formula One car.
Yeah.
Literally Formula One car in a road car body. Yeah. That is, the thing is, it's all changed, hasn't it? Like, for the super rich, and let's be honest, we'll never be in that position unless the Euro Millions comes in, which it won't. Go back 10 years. If you're super rich and you want to spend £2 million on a hypercar, you are pretty limited in your choices, weren't you, really? So 10 years ago, what Enzo maybe, Carrera GT, but they weren't really £1 million back then, were they? Now, the choice of £1 million cars, I didn't even think about Bugatti.
Yeah.
So now your £1 million, even if you want a Bugatti, you could have a second-hand Veyron, you could have a Chiron, you could have a Centa DC, whatever, I don't even know how you spell it. A Devo, a Bolide, you've got LaFerrari, you've got Pagani, Huayra, Zonda. No, I'm going to change my mind.
It's a beautiful car.
Yeah, I want a Zonda. I have, yeah. Zonda.
I love the craftsmanship of everything.
Cinque Roadster, 105 with the red white with the red carbon over the and the big snorkel on the top.
Yeah, no, they're awesome.
We're actually being quite petrol heady today, aren't we? We're just talking about cars.
Just cars in general.
They're all silly cars.
I can't answer the question of if I had unlimited money. I can't answer it. I literally...
It's difficult, isn't it?
Too much choice.
It's too much choice.
I'll tell you one car that I do like.
All right, money no object. Let's change it then. Money no object. What are the cars that takes your fancy? Like, what are the things that... Like, as I say, like for me, I'd have to have an SVJ.
Yeah.
I'd have to have a Senna. What are the cars that you would... you'd have to have one. Because you either really want one, love the look of it, whatever it is. Right, that car, love the look of it, gotta have one of those.
I've probably ticked it off already in this video.
Is it a Polestar?
No.
Huh? Is it an XC60 Polestar?
No, although I do love that car. But if it was as I've said to you, if I could only buy one supercar, one sports car, if I am at ever a point to buy my dream car is a Porsche GT3.
GT3, yeah.
The current spec GT3.
Yeah.
And if I ever get close to that, if there's a point where I sit there and think I can't justify the GT3, it's the 718 GT4.
Yeah. You know what?
That's my compromise, and that's a brilliant compromise.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
That's me, and that's, I don't think I'll ever change that. That's been a poster car for my...
Yeah.
My poster cars when I was growing up were Porsches and Lotus.
Nice.
I love Lotus.
So seeing that Amira then, whenever it was, a couple of months ago, weeks ago, I can't remember now, that was good. That was exciting.
It was good for me. Yeah, I really like the idea of where Lotus are going and stuff. I think it's going to be a big change.
It is going to be a big change. We won't give too much away.
I love about Lotus, the things I love about Lotus is the rarity. The Elise S1, the Elise S2, the massive art, when you get into the huge side sill. The fact that you're driving a little kind of...
You have to catch a bus from the pavement actually to the seat because there's like this much
metal
between you and the seat.
6'3", you park it in a normal car parking space, open the door and try not to ding the car next to you. I've got to crawl out on my hands and knees. I don't care because it was a Lotus and it was awesome. It's cool.
Amazing.
So the new Amira is exciting me because that's the last of the petrol stuff.
Yeah.
Be very intrigued to see where Lotus go with electric stuff. Totally different topic. But for me, money no object, car of my dreams is the Porsche GT3 or GT4. A car that does intrigue me because, as you keep reminding me, I'm older than you.
Yes.
And I like more...
And I will continue to remind you of that forever.
I like more usable, boring stuff rather than the supercar, hypercar stuff. Range Rover, the new one's coming out very soon.
It is. I'm actually, as we're filming this, I've actually seen that car. Yeah. I'm not going to say anything about it because it's obviously in the video, but no, I'm not going to say anything about that car.
We're not meant to have seen it, but
watch the video is basically all I'll say when that comes, if it's not already out.
In an SV autobiography spec with all the bells and whistles. And I know it's probably going to be ruinously expensive to run and maintain.
It will. Money's no object though.
But that's what I mean, if money's no object, then I'm probably going down that road to at least try it, because there's something about Range Rovers that...
SVR, I love the SVR,
There's something about them that makes me excited, and I do like that kind of stuff for wafting around it.
Yeah, they are proper wafters.
I'll tell you a car that's in the back of my mind that we don't sell in group, and it's a bit left field.
Yeah.
The Lexus Rcf.
Is it really? That's reminded me of the Lexus LFA.
Yeah, the LFA as well. No, but the Rcf. RCF? Yeah, the RCF with the
carbon. They
look
great though,
the carbon kit.
Yeah, they look
carbon
really
fibre
good.
bonnet, really long sloping coupé lines, really angular.
It looks like a concept car.
Yeah, that
but
really
they've actually built
grill.
it.
Yeah. A mental car. You don't see many of them around. They're hella expensive for what they are.
Yeah, they are.
And they're not.
Are they like M3, M4 kind of thing, or are they?
So yes.
M5
performance, M3, M4 kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But you read the reviews, they're not quite as sharp as them.
Yeah.
Because it's a GT car.
More of a GT it's softer.
Yeah. But they look ballistic.
Yeah.
And they're hella reliable because it's Japanese, isn't it? It's Lexus.
I haven't even talked about anything Japanese.
No.
I haven't even considered it.
But they're three cars that, money no object, I'd be investigating down those roads.
It's mad, isn't it? There's so many cars. We could carry on talking about cars and what we'd buy and what we wouldn't, and prices on cars for forever. And we do. This is pretty much what we talk about in the office. So it's quite nice to actually
over a cup of tea.
Literally is. Just talk about cars and what's come out and etc.
I'll tell you a harder question.
Go on.
What are you going to buy for $5,000?
Oh God.
What are you actually going to buy for $5,000?
Mazda MX-5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go MX-5, I think.
Yeah. Early one, Mark 1, Mark 2, later model, Mark 3, ND,
Mark
NC.
1. Mark 1, and then spend the cash left over to
maintain it, install it, and
restore it. Yeah.
I'd be torn between that and the NC. I've had MX-5s, you know.
You get MX-5. You know what I do like though? Bit different. Toyota MR2.
Toyota MR2s, yeah.
Not the wedge-shaped one. The one after that, the convertible.
The convertible, yeah. The Roadster.
Yeah, Roadster was quite nice.
Rear engine.
They're rare as well. They are now. Very rare cars.
I did a brief stint working at Toyota, and I drove a couple of those.
So
they're really nice.
Yeah, really good cars.
No, it'd be the NC MX-5, the Mark 3 gets slated as being the fat,
being fatter and bigger.
Big fat line. Yeah. But actually, if you drive them, they're really
great
good.
Car.
Really, really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be I've told you this before. For me, it'd be something daft like a Honda Civic EP3.
EP3, yeah. I was surprised you said MX-5 then, rather than EP3.
I've had an MX-5. I've had the Clio Sport 172.
Yeah.
I've done all that stuff, the French things. I've never driven, but never owned an EP3 Civic Type R. And I think that would be a good fun. And
there's a really tidy one.
If you get a tidy one of those, clean them up, make it look after it, decent low mileage one, that's only going to go up in value. What you've got to look at is the DC5s, DC2s, the Integras.
Yeah, Integras, they were cool, weren't they? Very cool cars. Anyway, we could carry on forever, can't we? But we'll, I think we'll stop there. I think because
we're going on a tangent.
We could just carry on
the other end of the spectrum.
It's completely the other end. But again, as always, we'd like to know what you guys would pick. Please put in the comments below.
Set your own parameters.
Yeah, set your own parameters. If it's 100 grand, 250, whatever it is, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, tell us your dream car garage.
Yeah, we will. Well, we won't rate them because obviously everybody's got their own opinions, but it'd be great to hear some more opinions because, well, this is just
what
ours.
we do. Yeah, we go.
Yeah. But as always, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, etc., etc. Stay tuned for more idle chat and plenty more
videos to come.
To come. We've got loads. We carry on going. We keep going.
We keep going.
Yeah, we keep going. So thank you ever so much for watching.
Support.
Yeah, continued support, and we'll catch you next time.